What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning. So come by and say hello. All right, guys. Well, we have another town hall in the books. This is the first one for May. It was on May 1st, 2023. And if you're new to the channel or new to this series every week or whenever there is a town hall, I do my 5 biggest takeaways. So this is not a summary. We're actually looking at the official summary here. But there's plenty of awesome content creators, both written and video, that do full summaries of the town hall. So I would make sure you go and support them. So let's go ahead and dive in. You can see here, these are the 5 things that I'm going to talk about, a couple bonus items as well. But there was a special guest on, and I feel like we can just jump right in. And that was Ali, and Ali Medjavi, I believe, is how you say his last name. So here's the thing about Ali. First of all, before we even jump in, I just want to say thanks to Ali for taking the time. I know that there was a lot of just discourse back and forth. I even made a video here covering a post from Dave McCoy about this. A lot's been said. I don't really want to harp on this too much. I just want to thank Ali for taking the time to come on. I really genuinely appreciate him taking the time. He is somebody who is high up in Splinterlands. You can see he is a Splinterlands advisor, a Splinterlands board members, Splinterlands board members are major investors. I don't know if he's a Splinterlands board member, but I do believe he is an advisor. Oh, no, never mind. He does serve on the Splinterlands board. No payment given to members. The board makes strategic decisions. This is separate from the DAO. So Ali represents the foundation, which is based out of Singapore. He is representative there. There's no ownership structure, no shares. The DAO doesn't have a chairman, and there's no way to control the DAO. There is no one party that can swing any vote. Proposal passed for listings. Okay, bot proposal. Okay, so it seemed like this is just kind of posting a bunch of random notes here. So let's get away from that. The only thing that I really wanted to cover on this was the fact that Ali came on to kind of explain his side of things, or why he voted the way that he did with the blockchain FF thing, blockchain FF stake, which is 6 million. So it's like the second highest currently for what's been voted. Now, here's the thing. And I'll probably give more thoughts on this. I gave more thoughts on a recent live stream, so I might just clip that and put that out. But the main thing is that I just wanted to hear from Ali. I didn't want him to flip his vote. If you can believe it, I did not want him to flip his vote on this. I just think that Ali, somebody that we didn't know about until, a couple of months ago, who is somebody high up, who is obviously advising Matt and Aggie, and who is integral, right, in a lot of those closed door meetings, who is integral to the future of the game. I wanted to get their opinion on why they voted the way that they did, especially because it was kind of against the will of the community. Again, I didn't want them to flip their vote. I didn't want him to flip the vote. But he gave his reasons for it. He gave his reasons why he initially thought that bots and AI could be a good thing. And if you can believe it, I actually wanted him to come on to the town hall to convince me to vote against the proposal, right? That's how open-minded I was trying to be about this whole thing, because I don't want to just fall, like, it's just so easy for all of us to fall into like mob mentality. And so I appreciate that he came on, gave a little bit more clarity on what his role is, because obviously he is somebody who is significant within the team. So once again, thanks to Ali for doing that. I think the important takeaways, and that's really just what I want to focus on here. The important takeaways are that, what he does with the foundation versus the DAO, a lot of that is multi-sig. He doesn't just have unilateral access to all of the DAO funds. He can't just make decisions on his own. And at the end of the day, I know there's a lot of like whatever being out there. I trust Ali. I really, really do. I mean, mainly because I trust Aggie and Matt. And I know that if they're working with somebody who is an advisor, who is a board member, everybody's looking at this from a long-term perspective. So this was never meant, at least from my side, so that's all I can speak for. This is never meant to demonize Ali in any way. It was to better understand why certain people who are at the top making strategic and integral decisions to the game are voting the way that they were voting, right? And I said this previously, but I'll say it again, like, this actually transcends this vote, right? So wanting Ali, who is such a large stakeholder in the game and is head of the DAO Foundation and is an advisor and board member for the team, I would love to see Ali more often. I would love to get Ali's opinions more often. Ali is a very smart guy. He's running a great business over there. So it's not fair to ask him to come through on every town hall or whatever the case is. But whenever there are major shifts like this, major movements or pushes within the community, I think it's really important to get his perspective. Again, not to change it, but just to understand where he's coming from. Because like I said, I want him to convince me in the way that I want Aggie and Matt to convince me, right? I believe in what they're trying to build. So when they lay out the groundwork of like, hey, this is the white paper, this is what we're going to do, this is what we want to create, I want to get excited about that, right? I want to be critical and be honest, but I want to get excited about the things that they're doing because I believe in the long-term vision of where this is going. And just like Aggie and Matt, I put Ali on that level now because Ali is at least a little bit more of a public figure than he was before. So that's kind of where things are at for me. I kind of want to table this now. And like I said, I'll clip maybe part of the live stream from earlier where I went into a little bit more detail. But thank you, Ali, for taking the time to come on. I really, really do appreciate it. You know, whatever happens with this vote, I'm over it now. But it's like at the end of the day, it is what it is. We're going to move forward and we're going to figure it out as a community. So that is all I'm going to say on that, at least for the purposes of this video. Okay, number 2, with guilds, there's a lot of really interesting things coming along. I will say that this is a little disheartening for me to see some of the timeframes that were happening. So the exciting stuff, let's start there, right? Guild points, which is something that we've been talking about for a while, or that, Matt brought up a while back, these contribution points whenever you burn DEC or DECB for your guild, now you'll be able to take them, or at least a significant majority of them, over to another guild in case you ever leave your guild or you get kicked out, something that's out of your hands. So with that, like, that sounds like it's coming soon. It sounds like it's been thought through already. We're going to get a post with more details, but that it should be coming hopefully by the end of the month. But since that is what is being focused on first, it sounds like the new guild buildings, which are going to be significant sinks for many things, right? Vouchers included, vouchers, packs, DEC, whatever the case is. It doesn't sound like that's coming in until June or later, according to Cryptomancer. And again, I always take the latest possible time frame whenever a team gives it out. So at this point, it's later. So I would say I'm not expecting any of that to happen until July. Let's work on the guild points first. Obviously, that's the first thing that Cryptomancer is working on. And I know Cryptomancer is awesome, right? So I'm sure he's going to knock this stuff out. Hopefully we get it out by the end of May, which is what he's anticipating. And then we'll see what happens in June. But I would say guild buildings, this is probably the most, like I said, the most disappointing thing for me is the fact that that's probably not coming in until Q3 July at some point. The other things with guilds, 7-day probation period for new members. I think that this is actually something great that they're implementing, because people always complain about the fact that, people can just cycle in and out of guilds and create a bunch of bot or alt accounts and then cycle themselves in and out of guilds. Well, if you're doing that, whenever you join a new guild, the new members have a 7-day probation period. Now, I believe you can participate in brawls, but you will not get any merits, or you will not get any merits or SPS is my understanding from that. And again, we'll wait for a post to clarify, because a lot of this is subject to change. These are all just high level ideas that the team shares with us ahead of time. Now, the cool thing here is, if you guys remember, maybe a week or two ago, Aggie teased that there will be upcoming utility for the SPT token. And if you're not familiar with what SPT is, it is the Splinter Talk token. And so that is kind of like the Hive blog or Peak D version. If you blog about Splinterlands, then you will earn this SPT token, similar to how you earn Hive or HBD whenever somebody upvotes your thing. So this was really popular during the airdrop, because it would give you, like, I think a 4-to-1 airdrop point. But after that, there hasn't really been any utility until 2 weeks ago, when Aggie said that they figured out some cool utility. It sounds as though that is going to be, at least in part, with guild buildings and staking SPT on guild buildings. So what we know so far, from what we've heard, and again, all this is subject to change, it sounds like there's going to be voucher staking. It sounds like there's going to be SPT staking, card staking, Rooney staking, and pack staking. So lots of stuff to come with guilds. And I guess that makes sense as to why it wouldn't be ready this month or June. So we'll see. Hopefully they can do better than July. But at this point, June just seems so overly packed that I'm expressing I'm expressing honest doubt that we'll be able to get everything in there. Again, not because I think nobody's working hard. In fact, I think everybody's working overtime, and I appreciate all the team and what they do. It's just, time is limited. There's only 4 weeks. there's only 4 weeks. There's only 24 hours in a day and only 4 weeks in the month of June. So we'll see how things go. But guild building is something that I was really, really looking forward to and hoping for in the month of May. So that dream has now been shattered for me. Okay, number 3, let's talk about vouchers, and I guess we can just stay over here. So what's interesting is, there are several questions about the price of Zerial and Voucher Utility and why, for example, Lux Vega vouchers were valued at $1 versus now for Zerial, they're valued at 25 cents. And it's interesting because Aggie was talking about wanting to provide more voucher utility rather than cutting the production, right? Because we've heard teasers of a potential proposal coming in that would reduce the amount of vouchers being given out by SPS or node licenses or both, right? We never got actual details on what that might be, but that's where voucher sinks or voucher faucets essentially are at the moment. But as somebody who holds a good amount of SPS and nodes, like I'm one of those people that probably wouldn't vote for it because it's like I want more utility rather than cutting supply, because cutting supply, if you just cut supply and then you don't increase demand, it's not going to do anything for price. It's the same thing as burning. It's just a marketing gimmick, right? Oh, we're going to cut the amount of vouchers being given out. Yeah, well, okay, if nobody wants them, they're still going to be 10 cents or whatever they're going for on the market right now, or less, right? So ultimately, I agree with that approach, and I'm glad that it seems as though I'm not the only one that is kind of not wanting to see voucher production cut. Where I disagree, though, is when, again, and this is more so just from a numbers perspective, when Aggie says we're giving more utility to vouchers, it's like you're valuing them less, which I suppose gives them more utility, even though they have less value. So there's a weird dichotomy that's existing there. Don't get me wrong. I like the fact that if Zerial sells out and people utilize vouchers, which they should because they're still giving you a significant discount, if Zerial does sell out and vouchers are used to the max, that's going to burn 2.4 million vouchers. So I'm all for it. I think that it's going to be good for the economy. And as somebody who's, I guess, not really that interested in Zerial, I guess it doesn't really matter to me, although I can understand for folks who are, or people who would have considered it, they're feeling that crunch now, because instead of buying a voucher for 10 cents, you got to buy 4 of them, right? So it's an additional 30 cents per, not per BCX, but it's 160 vouchers per 160 vouchers per BCX that you would need. So instead of getting 40 vouchers now, you need to get 160. So what is that? 120 times 10 cents. It's an additional $12 or so. Yeah. So, again, it's an added cost. So I totally understand. So ultimately, I do want to see more voucher utility. I'd love to see more ongoing voucher utility, but until we get guilds, unless there's something in tower defense, it remains... Sorry, just got to say, it remains the shitcoin of the Splinterlands ecosystem. That's just what it is. So it's just a coupon at this point, but hopefully that will change in the future. We just got to be patient and see what is to come. So number 4, more game mechanics improvements. This was interesting because Weirdbeard talked about how, at the beginning of the year or early on in the year, one thing Matt wanted to do was focus more in on actually designing things and not be as focused in on the day-to-day stuff, right? So what's been great is that as Weirdbeard has been able to take on more, and shout out to Weirdbeard. I mean, he gets a lot of flack, but Weirdbeard does a lot to just keep the engine running. So shout out to Weirdbeard. Again, I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody else. Matt's great and is designing this whole thing for us, and everybody is there building and creating and art and all that. But the main point with this and what Weirdbeard essentially put out there is, as he's taken on more and Matt has just been free to work on cool things, we get stuff like a dual element splinter or dual element card, right? And so maybe you don't like Zerial itself, but the game mechanics are improving. The game mechanics are developing. They're evolving. And I personally am excited for things like that, right? This is the first of its kind type of card. And again, even if you don't necessarily like this card specifically, I would be shocked if it was the first and only, right? I do believe at some point the team said that they wanted to do more of this, right? So in fact, Mac teased it a while back on a town hall that he was on. So it's just like, I don't think they're only going to just make one. I don't know when the next one would come in. It's not like a Lux Vega or anything like that where they wouldn't necessarily want to devalue Zerial. But if we're going to be getting more game mechanic improvements in the future, right? Like I would love, I think something that was thrown out there, I don't know if it was my idea or someone else's, but if it's not mine, don't worry about it. if it wasn't mine, I apologize. I'm not trying to take it, but like I love the seventh man idea, right? Where all of a sudden you get to take a monster that as soon as a monster dies, that monster hops in its place, right? Where it's just like, little things like that would make the game more exciting. And personally, I think it would be really cool. So as Matt is now, more designated in his role and is able to focus on these larger kind of developments and projects within the game, I think that this is a great call out by Weirdbeard. So, we had things stayed the same as they were last year, we may not have gotten something like Zerial. And again, it's not about Zerial. It's just about the fact that we're able to make game mechanic improvements. And that is something that Matt said that he wanted. I remember early on in the year saying that he doesn't want to wait until Rebellion to get new game mechanics into the Splinterlands ecosystem. So hopefully this is the start of something awesome. And again, it's not about Zerial, but it's just the idea that Matt is in a place now where he can bring us more and more cool stuff to take the game to the next level. And then lastly, there is a new rule set coming in tomorrow called Born Again. And this gives every monster the rebirth ability. And so, when it came out, I immediately thought, I'm just like, does this devalue Rooney? I don't know. I don't think it does. I'm not upset as a Rooney holder. I'm not upset about it. And in fact, I like it. I mean, I wanted to call it the zombie rule set. In fact, I think I even talked about it there, but it's just like, okay, everybody gets the rebirth ability. That's cool. But I'm curious for Rooney owners out there, is this something that devalues Rooney? Like, I'm just trying to understand the general sentiment. As Rooney is the only one that has this ability, and then you have a rule set that gives it to everyone, right? So again, it's part of just the rule set. I don't think that it's a big deal. In fact, I'm excited about it. I think it adds more to the meta overall. But it's just these small things, guys, week in and week out, that the team is delivering to us that keep the game spicy, or at least spicy enough to continue going along. So I'm excited to give that one a try. Last thing that we have, some bonus items. There was some land eye candy as we move into, as Nate said, we're moving away from the Zillow outlook, right? Where you want to find the best land and you're just doing a lot of shopping. Now it's more of a management, and you can see how the production and things are going to look. So here are some of the screenshots that he shared, where you'll be able to go in and see your total plots, look at it by a specific region, for example. You'll be able to claim everything that you need in a region. Here's something a little bit more, right? So here's what's filled in, right? So you'll be able to see, okay, you have how much DEC is needed, how much dark energy there, how many people are working for grain, how much grain you have. You can claim everything. You can see your grain, your research, SPS, the work sites, productivity per hour. Like, I don't know, all this stuff is really cool. Obviously, land is going to be a resource management type game. And it's cool to see how, as Aggie puts it, it's cool to see how the sausage is made in order for us to get a lot of this stuff, or at least to see how we will be able to manage it and what types of tools we'll have available to us. And so I guess here's another cool thing. I'm assuming this is research, grain, and is that SPS? I don't know. Well, no, SPS is something different. So I guess this is DEC, grain, and research. So that's all we got. I don't know what this is, but hopefully we'll find out. I'll have to go back into the the town hall and listen. So that, I believe, vouchers for, okay. Last bonus item. So this was asked in a question or during the Q&A session. Somebody asked if we could use vouchers as for blood and power stones as another sync, right? And it's just like, part of me looks at that and I'm just like, okay, we want DEC to be burned because that gets the flywheel going. But at the same time, if people want to spend vouchers on it, I just said earlier in this video that I want more ongoing utility for vouchers. That would be one. The cool thing is that Cryptomancer said this is something the team couldn't do a while back because vouchers had transitioned away from being in-game and going onto the SPS chain. But obviously with everything that happened with land, we now have the voucher G tokens, right? So, and again, that's not a brand new token. It's just whenever you transfer the vouchers back into the game, you get a voucher G token. So you technically could be able to use it if you wanted to. So he did say to put a proposal for this if people were interested in having it. So I guess I'll leave you all with another question here. Is this something that you would use for, is this something that you would use for voucher and bloodstones? Now, here's the thing. Here's going to be the tricky part with vouchers for bloodstones. Because DEC is already an option, whatever price you choose in terms of how many vouchers are required, that is essentially going to be a peg, since DEC is at least roughly pegged, or at least has a peg value. I don't know if the team wants to hold themselves to it, but it's not a terrible idea. It's just, I think at the end of the day, what adds the most value to the SPS token is definitely going to be the DEC burning, right? DEC burning mechanism and getting the flywheel going. But since vouchers are a direct benefit from staking SPS, you could make the argument the other way around. Now, like I said, the only tricky part is when you kind of have both options available, do they get, you're going to have to peg one or the other. So it's like, I personally think we should either keep it DEC or flip to vouchers. But at the end of the day, it's just like, it doesn't make sense necessarily to have both. But I could be wrong on that, and I'm open to hearing ideas and preferences for what people would like to see. So that is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I will catch you all in the next one, and I will see you around the game. Take care.